Welcome. Good morning, Father Ted, for the second time.
Second time.
It's nice to have you once again because your talk is really important, for the young people, for the family, and for our life as a Jesuit as well. So once again, thank you very much for your availability to accept my request once again. So good morning and welcome.
And good morning to Ilo, no, for inviting. This always. What is my reason? The reason is, I suppose, to share a message or to have good news.
Mhm.
Like we're looking for pattern in the midst of seeming chaos of our life.
Mhm.
How do we journey? No, and are there available steps or tips that we learn from people, no, who reflect upon the lessons of life?
Mm.
So me, I just I wake up early in the morning and I try to see what people have learned about
Mm.
life, and I am an eager student in a way to see what we can learn, no, from life and what it can tell us, especially with the conditions going on around. But our setting, our context, at least for me, no, is in the Philippines. So it will be situated or in the context of what is going on in the country, but also with the families, like what
Family.
you were talking about.
So, Father, so my first question is, what makes our heart break?
Oh, that's a challenging question, no? I suppose there are many reasons, no, for the
Mm.
heartbreak, but the root word that triggered me to use that word heartbreak, because in the Philippines we talk a lot about, I don't know if you see it in your news, no,
Mhm.
but in the East Timor or whatever, but in the Philippines a lot of talks are being about corruption.
Mhm.
It's about core
Mhm.
ruption. It's like there's a rupture of the heart.
Mhm.
There's a break of the heart. So it is heartbreaking because you have people who die,
Mhm.
no, because of the substandard way of doing things, of this people getting sick, houses being destroyed, uh, and ghost projects. Those
Mhm.
are the things that are like choices that people make, and the same choices we do also break our hearts.
Mhm.
So, in other words, there are consequences. So, when we try to uh, become numb and not think of the consequence to other people, then it breaks our
Mhm.
hearts, no? Because there is really an effect on the choices we make, on our surroundings, on the people around us. It's like the story of those who take drugs. One of the things that they say is it breaks the hearts not only of the person but also of people around,
Mhm.
because there are consequences, no, financially, physically, like the health, or it affects the emotional
Mhm.
condition. It affects the relationships around, so,
Mhm.
and also finance, and also work, etc.
So it meaning to say that every choices that we are going to make, there is always a consequences. The
Yes.
consequences is it can be break our heart and it
it,
can be strengthen our heart in terms of relationship in the family, in the society, and in the church. So how about relationship in the family? What do you find the major problem in the family that easily to break the heart of the family, the relationship of the family?
I think that's a good question, no, what, because it brings me back home, let's say, to our relationships. What breaks our hearts? We have certain ideals who, let's say, the parents should be, no, like you have ideals
Mhm.
like reliable, no, dependable. When the parents or the children, it doesn't have to be the
Mhm.
parents only, the children, adolescents, or when there is a breaking of a promise, no, when it's not reliable anymore, when you have uh, like disappointments, frustrations
Mhm.
in the home, when you have this lack of like dependability,
Mhm.
then it breaks the hearts of
Mhm.
people. Like supposed to be there is good communication,
Mhm.
but there is none, no? Or for example, you have um, miscommunication, or let's say you have people who, when there is infidelity, for
Mhm.
example, these are heartbreaks for people. When there is dishonesty,
Mhm.
no, like in the Philippines, we talk about um, fake news, no. So when there is lack of reliability in terms of truth, no, you cannot rely on truth anymore.
Mhm.
Right? Is there truth or not? So the other one also is when lack of common good. In other words, lack of justice, no,
Mhm.
a sense of justice. So it breaks the heart, no. Or when there is like and young people know this. You say one thing and you do another thing.
Mhm.
There is heartbreak, no. Um, you have a promise, but you break it. You know, something like that.
Mhm.
You say one thing, but you do another thing.
Mhm.
So these are heartbreaks, especially in the home.
Mhm.
We call it you don't walk the talk. No.
Mhm.
So in the families, we say if you rate your family 0 to 10, 0 to 10. So let's say you say 5, that's middle, no? Or if it's really low, you say 4, let's say, or 3.
Mhm.
Or it can go up to 7 or 8. So you rate your family. Now, of course, it depends on your guideline. No?
Mhm.
What is your guideline? What is your criteria? So the thing is, how do we, when we say you rate your family, let's say 8, 8, no, 8, we say 10 minus 8, what is the answer?
Two.
2, correct. When you say your rating is 4, 10 minus 4,
Six.
6, 10 minus 7,
Three.
3. All those differences are like, we call it gaps.
Mhm.
So, in a way, we continue the reflection on the heartbreak
Mhm.
when there are gaps, or they say sometimes, in English, we call it glitches or errors. When there are gaps or glitches, now, even for doctors, it's very important. We have to know, we have to learn from errors, no? Or something like that. We have to diagnose so that we can learn what went wrong, no?
Mhm.
Or even in the home, sometimes the difficulties can become blessings.
Mhm.
The seeming chaotic, dysfunctional, we call it dysfunctional, no? Can also be a lesson. Can also the seeming failure can
Mhm.
also be a source of strength one day because we can learn, no?
Mhm. So the problems or the conflicts or miscommunication in the family because of there is no connection sometimes, and therefore it breaks the heart of the family member, even the couples or the children's. So what makes the family to heal the heart that is wounded, and in what ways that can
Yeah,
be?
that's a good question, actually, Ilo. You mentioned the word like when there is no connection.
Mhm.
That's very important. In fact, that is what we call sin, isn't it? When we disconnect,
Mhm.
we're supposed to be connected. Now, what happens is, uh, like all of us, even pets, even cats and dogs, you know, there is a bond. Oh, what more with babies, no?
Mhm.
And papa or mama, no? There is that connection that we need. And then when you break it, like what you were
Mhm.
saying, this lack of connection, of course, there is frustration, there is
Mhm.
anger, there is rage, no? Like people are asking for ikulong na yan. It means translation. It means you jail, no? But it's true that there is disappointment, and maybe there's justice. That's the clamor of the people, or even in the home. But let's go back to your original. What will heal? Okay. Of course, we only learn from people who have studied these areas, no, and maybe there are many paths to healing. But the first thing that people suggest that I follow for now I follow, like for example, the first one is, what lesson are we learning from the chaos? Like remember in the Exodus story, Yahweh says, "I heard the cries of my people." So there is like compassion. There is you have a God who listens to the people. Listening to, now if you apply that to our families, there is something happening at home. Now the thing is, I can ignore it, I can neglect, I can continue the abuse. I can, some people say, continuing the same thing and expecting a different result, that's insanity, they say, no. So we can continue the insanity or the this seeming we call dysfunction, or we learn the lesson. The first part of the healing would be, I begin to recognize, yeah, maybe what my children are looking for, and my family, it is looking for connection, like what you said. One, the other one, closeness. The other one is maybe guidance. Who will lead the home? Maybe respect, no, dignity. Uh, in other words, from this seeming chaos, it will also the birthplace of this burning bush or purpose. No, how do we heal? We heal when we begin to see the purpose, when we hear the call. That's why Moses, when he he saw that the bush was burning, but maybe it was a symbol of the call of God and Yahweh. No, I heard the cries of my people. In other words, something needs to happen. What's that? Freedom. It needs dignity. It needs how do we restore? In other words, so the first one, the healing is, can I see the call? It's like you have a beginning of the holy desire or the sacred fire, no? That from the seeming chaos or from the seeming difficulty or dysfunction, we begin to hear, we begin to listen. So, in other words, from the unmanageability which the people from those who use drugs, they say, there is an admission, my life has become unmanageable. I am powerless over whatever the addiction is, alcohol, drugs, or the dysfunctional behavior. I became like impulsive. I became out of control. I begin to understand, know. I begin to have wisdom, no, and then slowly I try to find conduct that is pleasing to this family or to this God, and then I try to find a faithfulness in a way that will correct, no, that will uh, address what is needed, to see the needs. In other words, it's okay. So one is to see the call. There are many more steps, no, and then after that, I begin to find like if I broke something, how can I restore? So how do we restore? We cannot do it fast, and we cannot do it easy, and it will have to be some in basketball. Now in the Philippines we have basketball now, and we call it the final four. But now we have only, I think, two already in the final stretch. You have LaSalle and let's say UP. Yeah. Oh, you know already. Okay, the Maroons, no, the UP. Now there will be But in the battle of life, it is in the last few seconds you will see who will win
Mm.
and who will stretch and endure. No, I like this one. Some people say when you have a lot of noise, a lot of pressure, a lot of like fear in a way, the people who will survive, who are they? They are calm.
Mhm.
They begin to, like in the midst of pressure, because remember, so when people shouting, screaming, and like in the family, people are blaming each other, maybe, but the people who are able to see in the midst of the chaos what is being communicated. So, like what we said, maybe there's a purpose, there's a call, there's a new choice, or maybe set of choices that need to happen. So, the first one is to see the purpose and the call. The second one is where and how can we make a difference?
Mhm. So expectation is can be one of the things that can contribute to disconnection of the family. Like if a parents expect too much from the children, so it limits the freedom of the children to make a choice, because this is what I want, you have to follow. Even the children do not want to do it, or even in the couples, this is how I expect you to become. So like expectation too high, and then we cannot support without the capacity that we have. So for the family, like how can we see the quality of one another? Or like for example, how can I see the the children's qualities that they have to pursue, or the husband to see the quality that the wife has. So instead of like forcing someone to do what they don't want to do, so it can be kind of like help to become a distractions in the family also.
Okay. I like what you said that is there high expectation
Mm.
disregarding the
Your
qualities of each
qualities, that,
other.
yeah, that's right.
Like in other words, to not to pay attention,
Hmm.
maybe different talent, no,
That's right, that's right.
different capacity,
Hmm.
no, different. So in other words, in the home,
Mm.
you're right, no, in the home, what we hopefully can do is to respect the gift
Make
of
it
each other.
Mhm.
Of course, we call that charism, no.
Mhm.
There are many gifts that we have, and what can we do? Hopefully, we can enhance, we
Mm.
can bring out. If there's any expectation, hopefully, if there's a
Mm.
good expectation, it is to enhance.
Mm.
No, I cannot impose, like what you were saying. I cannot impose, but I have to trust. Maybe all of us, we have our gifts,
Mm.
and maybe even in the home, we can allow the gifts to shine,
Mhm.
to come out, and in a way to address our. We
Mm.
go back to what is needed. No,
Mm.
is there respect? Is there like is there care for each other? Is there need to protect each other?
Mhm.
Maybe we need to really reflect on what do we need to protect at home. No, is there too much influence outside,
Mhm.
or maybe to, yes, to have friends outside, but also to choose the friends,
Mhm.
or even to are we paying attention to each other, or are we putting down each other? So in other words, to not to be consumed by fear.
Mm.
Okay, so in other words, how do we pay
Mm.
attention, no, to each other? What is each one longing for? So the thing is to bring out the charism, and hopefully they call it we do not compete with each other,
Mhm.
but we compete within us to do our best. In fact, they say, we go back to how do we restore, how do we heal? There are small habits maybe we
Mhm.
can learn. In fact, now is a season of Advent. Now we look for the end times, the last few seconds of our life. But at the same time, what do we do every day? So, despite the pressure, despite the noise, despite
Mm.
the blaming, what good can we do? Build what we can build now through our daily habits or our drills, we call, and then we build it for the future, but also today. We start today. For example, do we give time to each other? Do we respect each other? And you will see that in our communication. And if there is the difficulties when there is feedback, when there is feedback that is seemingly negative, can we listen? No?
Mm.
Maybe the negative feedback is also a way to correct.
Mm.
Okay, that's the hard part. No, when we have and no one is perfect. Can we learn from each other and and have, let's say, maybe the truth will set us free? No, can we allow that? No, for example, from this seeming clamor for justice, for it's really accountability they call, and transparency. From this call for honesty, can we learn from it? Can we learn the lesson? How do we turn the seeming failure into how do we do well? No? How do we do our best?
So in a relationship, we should give a hand to each other to enhance one another to achieve the goal together. No one can achieve it alone. This is
Yeah.
in the relationship in the families, no. So I have experienced that in a relationship, both always should go hand in hand. So acceptance is really important. That you have this quality, let's help one another. You have this weakness, let's solve together. So we cannot just I just want to see the good things in you, but the bad things I reject. So it can become a barrier to a relationship in the family. So as you mentioned about the relationship must enhance one another to grow together. It's not I see your quality, I like you, and I see your this quality I don't like, something like that. No.
Okay, I see your point. How do we collaborate?
Mm-hmm.
How do we, like, even in basketball, even in, we need to have teamwork,
Mm-hmm.
but they say you need to have also self control.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, how do we condition ourselves so that in the long haul or even at present, we will have like good habits or drills that will help us. Maybe I cannot just shout at you or
Mm-hmm.
scream at you or put you down, no? So how do we have control inside at the same time to listen?
Mm-hmm.
It's like building a teamwork, like in the midst of the play, no, in the basketball or etc. or volleyball, whatever, in the heat of the game, we cannot blame each other for not but we have to pay attention
That's right.
how we compete. We're not really competing with the others, but we're really competing inside of us, competing against our fear, competing against this becoming overcome by pressure. But it's really how do we become still and to learn the lesson, always paying attention to each other, what is needed, no, and hopefully how do we support, no, each other.
Mm-hmm.
So important, like what you were saying, how do we work together? So
Mm.
there's a team play. Even at home, there's a lot of attention and a lot of taking care of each other, but also taking care so that we have a good influence on other people
That's
also,
right. That's right.
not just for us, but
Mm.
how do we have good influence on
Mm.
others?
So what is the star that we need to follow in the relationship, in our relationship with others, as you mentioned about relationship with ourselves. So what really star that we need to follow?
So what we're saying is, first, it's like you have, it's like you're driving, no? You cannot be impulsive, no? So in other words, how do we have like red
Mm.
flags to see the warning signs? So if there's a red signal, slow down, or at least
Mm.
be aware I need to stop. Another one is yellow, caution, no? And then green, okay, go. So where do we start? I think we have to learn to read signals and then make choices.
Mm.
So some people say, what works? The people who are really learning the lessons of life, they are able to follow good habits, no, small habits which have long-term consequences. So one is to learn the lesson of what works, no. Maybe if I listen well, like with parents and children, don't talk first, okay?
Mhm.
Just listen. In other words,
Mm.
when we're able to listen, maybe the person will open up more.
Mhm.
Okay, it's okay to have expectations, but how do we learn what is good for both? Common good, no?
Mm.
Or common good for the whole family, but also for other people. So how do we start? We learn to the lessons of what works. It's not all failure. Maybe there are good things also that the family does, and there are strengths. Second, maybe if there are negative behaviors that happen, how do we correct? No, how do we do it differently? And then the third one is what are our next steps? In other words, there are while we break promises, maybe we can like someone dies, no? How do we start again? Knowing the best of the past of someone who died, how do we like honor the person, and then how do we continue the best? No, whatever it is that people have, whether it is good writing, whether it is study, no, whether it is hard work, industriousness, no, enthusiasm. So there are good things that need to continue, and conditioning, no, every day, so that we can have a better future, no, so that in the long haul, like in the game of basketball or volleyball or whatever, the people who are really well conditioned, small habits like this, they say the prism, or this pyramid of good habits or character building. When we build this good character, maybe we will reach that big hill of this beatitude of life, no, and we can have some happiness, no, and some people call it success. But how do we build in a way the future now, no? Like now we talk about Advent. There is a future, there's a second coming, but also there is a daily dose of good habits and practice.
So, Father, come to the end, and when we talk about relationship in the family, and we are now in the season of Advent, so a preparation, what family need to prepare to welcome the Lord that is coming, and
Yeah, like in when we say preparation, you can do it negatively,
Mhm.
but the negative can be positive also. How is that? There is repentance,
Mhm.
no? So how do we prepare? We 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 can correct, no, our old selfishness
Mhm.
or our old lack of regard for each other.
Mhm.
So one is to admit our impulsiveness and what is too much, no? So repentance. But on the other hand, there is also how do we make amends? How do we correct? At the same time, we cannot force things to change. We learn to wait.
Mhm.
I had an accident,
Mhm.
and I tripped. No, I didn't see there is a rope and it's getting dark, and maybe I didn't raise my feet too much. I fell on my face. No, well, maybe my advent is one, be careful.
Mhm.
uh, Maybe don't carry too much or
Mhm.
whatever. Uh, and then I had blood on my face. No, but the lesson is the presence of mind. No, the lesson is what is our purpose. I went to the bus terminal because I want to go home. I want to listen to a professor who would like to talk about what is happening in the country. No, so I want to listen. to see the condition situation. And then even if I was wounded, of course I needed to heal for a while, no, stop the blood. But after that, the blood stopped, and my mind was still clear. I was not dizzy or vomiting, and there was no need to suture. But I had to go to the hospital. I had to have myself checked, no, for the night until about 12. I slept well, but the following morning, even if I had this strip or this gauze on my face, I can still hear. I can still attend, the conference. So even if I didn't look well, but my mind was clear, and I wanted to attend, no. And what was helping? My siblings were very helpful. My siblings, they helped me go to to the hospital, and then they were taking care of, have you eaten? Have you had dinner? So they were the ones got the medicine, etc., etc. So on the CT scan and all these things. In other words, there was collaboration also.
That's right. So, Father, thank you very much for your time. So, in this preparation, we require some repentance, and at the same time, we also require help from other people, because the salvation is not come from us alone, but from the community. So, thank you very much for your time, experience, wisdom that share with me. It will help more people to understand what really breaks our heart.
Yeah, there's a waiting, but there's also preparation.
Preparation.
Yeah, it's you wait, try to listen, and and study, but also you prepare. No, what good habits can we do?
So thank you very much, Father. So let's pray for one another. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much,
I
Father.
thank you. I thank you, Ilo, for welcoming. Okay, for